All right, welcome to the Waterboro Planning Board meeting.
I don't remember.
Hey, people. Welcome to the Waterboro Planning Board meeting. It's November 1st. We have a quorum. It's just past 6:30 p.m. Yes.
Selectmen Tim Neal wanted to be here tonight. He can't because of the family medical situation.
All right.
He wanted me to read a statement. You mind if I do that?
You mind? Let's get the meeting up and running first. We've done a time change to 6:30. Usually at 7. This is a trial period for 3 months, and then the board will decide whether or not to keep it that way. All right, Gary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is dated November 1st from Selectman Tim Neal. First of all, my name is Gary Lamb, for the record, Town Administrator. To the planning board members, planning staff, and the public. Waterboro has spent thousands of taxpayer dollars for legal review, formatting, and editing to develop the draft of a revised zoning ordinance. The planning board, planning staff, and town employees have devoted hundreds of hours to that draft. While the revised zoning ordinance entered the final phase before publication, Planning Board Chairman Dwayne Prescott began to develop his own version independently. In a series of emails, the chair directed board members to review his changes. None of this information has been discussed in public meetings on the record. This process has taken place without public knowledge. The chairman has not sought support from the board to write a competing ordinance. The board has not voted to grant him that authority. Mr. Neal is requesting that Chairman Prescott explain his actions.
To Selectman Tim Neal, planning board members can do whatever they want with this ordinance. This project was directed to us to make these decisions.
May I make a motion?
Sure.
I make a motion that we suspend the rules of order for now
I'll second that.
to censure the chairman.
All right, fine. And what is it?
The vice chair must preside over this vote
Okay.
according to the rules of order. So we need to take a vote on whether or not to suspend the rules of order. And I move that we do, so I need a second.
I think Judy did.
No,
No?
I will, but I didn't. I seconded her first motion.
All in favor? Any discussion? And the reason behind this is,
Was there a clear vote there?
no.
No, I don't think so.
No clear vote yet. The reason behind this is,
The reason behind it,
yes.
Well,
that is,
Just to
I
get out on
think-
public record that
right,
why.
right. For the excessive use, I understand, of emails and not publicly including that in a meeting format, which is, everything is supposed to be available in public. Am I right here?
Our emails are public, can be accessed by anybody.
I don't know if you want others to speak other than the board at this time.
We'll get to it.
Mr. Nelson's running this question.
Right, so it's because.
He's questioning me,
Right. I'm asking,
and I'm saying that I made this motion to censure, and we need, and to suspend the rules of order. So I need someone, Judy seconded suspending the rules of order. Now, do we need a vote for that?
A discussion and a vote.
any discussion on this?
Excuse me, Liz.
Yes.
Can someone explain to me, because I'm sort of new and stupid.
Would you speak
Because
up, please?
I'm new and stupid, so I need to understand what it means to suspend the rules of order. What does that phrase mean?
That comes from the Roberts Rules people.
So why is it necessary to do that?
I'll take a crack at this. I
It's the
guess.
actions against me.
Okay.
Well, I guess trying to follow along here because I'm watching this whole thing unfold. Suspending the rules would basically put Lee in charge of the meeting temporarily for Judy had made this motion to censure,
I understand.
which means that there would be some discussion as to, I guess, Dwayne's actions regarding his emails and concerns, I guess, that the board has about all of the communications that
I
are
understand
occurring.
that. I was specific at what the
It's-
suspend the rules of order.
Suspend the
And
rules
now I
of order
understand.
is,
Thank
yes,
you.
simply for this conversation to occur.
Any discussion?
No,
Looking, go for a vote. Brian?
Yeah, I'm completely lost.
Man, basically what's going on is I've been sending out emails, information, my bullet points, what's been going on with the zoning ordinance.
Right, yeah.
As a matter of fact, David, you were the one who asked for a cleaned up version. I didn't make any changes, I just cleaned it up. So realistically, all I did was give a planning board member exactly what he asked for. And so anyhow, the change in rules is so we can run the meeting till this action against me is resolved about my use of planning board emails. Because apparently, we're not supposed to talk to each other all week long for 2 weeks and just show up here and have at it. And I didn't agree with that right from the beginning. So, and that's what, is that clear enough? So the actions against me and my use of email, sending out information to planning board members in between meetings.
David?
So perhaps I can clarify any misunderstanding. When I looked for a cleaned up version, I wasn't looking for a new version. I was looking for a version such as we have here that in a rational way consolidated all the comments, corrections, and changes that were made into a single document that flowed from beginning to end rather than the multiple documents that we were dealing with that were becoming, to me, increasingly confusing as to what was where. That was not a request for substantive changes. It was just simply a request to clean it up in terms of the corrections, spelling, grammatical, formatting errors, so that it was a readable version and you could see physically what had changed and what had not changed. And to me, that's what we received for the meeting.
I don't know, I guess I feel that you think the way that you look at it is the way that we all look at it without really bringing it up at a meeting and saying anything. And this disturbs me because you and I do not necessarily think alike. And
It was just my
for you to
intent.
say that your version is the cleaned up version, I find offensive. And we've talked about this before. You sat here all winter when we were doing this. You were at most of the meetings and nothing was said. Now, all of a sudden, when we're done and think we have this, the rest of us think it was put to bed, all of a sudden, every time I don't do email, my husband does, and every time he opens it up, he says there's another one. And I find this very confusing.
All right, it was my intention just to give the planning board members information. That's all it was. You know, we were looking at a document that had a lot of scratched out, so what I did is anything that was scratched out, I cut it out. Natalie's notes, I put in. And that's all it was information. It was never, my version I was gonna ever put forth to be moved forward. I was just cleaning it up and giving people some information to look at in between meetings. And that's all that intention ever was.
Well,
Just to clarify, Mr. Chairman, this first motion is just to suspend the rules. And I think there's going to be a subsequent motion, so I'm told, afterwards, we're talking about censuring the things we've been talking about. So I would, at your pleasure, I would vote just whether or not you're willing to suspend the rules, which means since this is against Mr. Prescott, Mr. Nelson runs that portion of the meeting just for this question. Mr. Prescott runs the rest of the meeting, whatever happens after that. But this is just specifically whether or not you vote to suspend the rules.
There's a motion and a
And it
second
was
on
Motion
moved
and
and
second.
seconded.
so I think we need a vote
Yes.
Yeah.
to suspend.
The rules.
To suspend the rules, which has Lee,
Bad.
run
I'm pretty a man.
the portion of the meeting for the sanction.
Yes.
Right. We get it all figured out?
So we can vote?
I said one before we vote.
Sure.
So Dwayne still has a say to back his points, even though Lee's running.
Right,
Correct.
I'm just this little piece
Right,
right
this
here.
is just changing the,
Yes.
We raised the chair for me.
Yeah.
The chair and the agenda too.
So are we voting?
Yes, we're gonna vote. All in favor? Opposed?
And the chair.
I'm gonna abstain. I have,
No financial interest here.
what's that?
No financial interest here.
No, there isn't. It was dropped on me in a bombshell. I like to think about things before I just make a gut decision.
I learned about this yesterday.
Oh, well, you're 24 hours ahead of me.
We
So,
all learned about it right now, I think.
yeah,
All right,
you can vote
so
present.
it's up to me. The vote has been taken to suspend the rules of order. Then I make a motion that we censure the chair for failure to comply with the Freedom of Access Act. And discussion may ensue.
Well, you made a motion, so
Motion
now.
need a second.
you have
Oh,
to
it needs to
second
be
gotta
seconded,
be
sorry.
seconded.
I will second it.
Now to Ryan's point, there can be discussion.
Again, Freedom of Information Act, our emails are public.
My problem is I'm not getting them all. My problem is I'm not getting them all.
All what?
All of your emails.
Well, that's half my problem solved.
Yes, sir.
I'm happy to kick this off in an informative sense, if I may.
Yes,
go ahead.
please.
I spoke with Natalie today about this issue. There's a problem here with those emails because they're substantive. The things that you were sending out are substantive communications. And I'm going to read to you a little, just a bit here. Per Maine's Freedom of Access Act, there's not supposed to be any substantive communications between board members outside of open meetings. Such communications can easily violate the Freedom of Access Act and constitute an illegal meeting. I showed some of the emails to Natalie, and she said, you have a problem, and this needs to stop. Board member emails between meetings are fine if they're not substantive, if you want to change a location of a meeting or a timer of a meeting or something like that. But I have to respectfully ask that Chairman Prescott's or any other planning board members' comments for going forward here, they need to go to the town planner. Not to Tammy, they need to go to the town planner for him to review those, and then he puts them together, gives them to Tammy, and they're in your packet for the next meeting. That's the way it's supposed to work. And it hasn't been. You sent out 19 emails to planning board members. And that's a violation of Maine's Freedom of Access Act. And we cannot allow that to continue, in my opinion. So I'd be happy to
No.
answer any
Gary?
questions.
I'm good with Natalie's opinion. It was, I thought we were allowed to just send out facts as long as we didn't communicate back and forth and make any kind of decisions.
To the board's credit, I don't believe anybody ever
No.
responded to you.
No.
And that's good. But nevertheless, you were asking questions,
It's
you were making
fine.
substantive
No.
suggestions.
Okay, I didn't catch that part about it being substantive, so
Okay?
I'm good.
And I
So
thought-
I hit Lee J's email straightforward.
Well, since this is all new to me tonight, I would always expect that if anybody had questions or comments or whatnot, as the staff for you folks, that you would come straight to me. Certainly I was receiving the emails, but I too was not responding, and I was not responding simply because I felt that this here was the place and location for us to have that dialogue and that discussion, as we have been doing through the redevelopment of this whole ordinance, which I thought had been good. And as I'm kind of going off of my own little diatribe, I apologize, but as I promised, we had a cleaned up version on the timetable that I told you that we would have it. And you know, if there are any concerns, comments, or questions from when you received it to this meeting or following the next meeting, be happy to deal with those. But not, again, even from my perspective, my time commitment to you folks is somewhat limited by finances, and to try and respond to all of those emails that were coming through and work with all of the other communities I am was just not going to be, one, very well time managed by me, and two, would not be fair to you folks either, because I couldn't give you the time that I needed to in that respect. That being said, I did receive all of them. I never opened one, so I don't know what any of them say.
Sure.
One other little bit from Natalie that was more of a personal statement from her. She was very surprised and disappointed at that an elected state representative, an appointed chair.
Hey, this is not the forum for that. Here, I'm a planning board member.
Okay. That the
You
chair,
skip that
the
statement.
chair of this board would make derogatory remarks about people on welfare, and also make personally insulting email comments to the town planner and to Tim Neal on the Board of Selectmen.
And we've dealt with that already.
That doesn't mean you didn't do them, sir. You apologize for that, and that's great.
That's right. And you're rehashing that. Why?
Why? Because I think the public needs to know.
The public did know. I made a public apology.
Well, we're revisiting tonight in the idea of censure. I think it's appropriate.
And you choose to drag my state position into this. Why?
Because I think somebody who's an elected
And
representative.
I think you're out of line.
Okay.
I'm a planning board member.
He's running the meeting.
I don't. So where were we?
I just, if I may.
Sure.
So, just from viewing from a outside perspective, Dwayne was trying to give a cleaned up version to David,
To all of you.
to all of us, per a question. The question may have been misleading a little bit, trying to get a cleaned up version prior to the meeting for review. I just, there seems like there's several different points of views coming together. That just, people were missing parts that needed to be there.
I have to be clear again. When I asked for a cleaned up version, it was clear that Lee and the town hall team were the ones that were going to be doing this. So when I saw Dwayne's emails coming in, I have never opened one or read one because I was waiting to see this document. I never assumed it was Dwayne taking responsibility for doing this by whatever means I don't recall. But so it was a simple request that was not to be editorialized. It was just simply to consolidate documents that had been accumulating, and anything beyond that of rewriting or going beyond what had already been written by Lee J. and his team would not have been expected by me in that consolidation.
Okay.
All right, the bottom line is I broke the rule. I didn't mean to. I was just giving people something to chew on to get ahead of the game, to come to the meeting. So basically I am at fault. I broke the rule because it was how do you pronounce that? Substantiated.
Substantive.
Thank you. And that's what went wrong. And that's where we're at.
I think, if I may, I think there are two issues that we have to really consider. One is what happened, and I do think that the substantive matters in email is a challenge that needs to be addressed. Number two is to be really clear going forward how we communicate, when we communicate, and what the tone of communication is amongst the board and in our public documents. And I think that tone has to be clear, it has to be positive, it has to be respectful, it has to be orderly. And it has to be in a very public, transparent sense where that substantive challenge is met in our meetings, not in a string of emails that lead us to nowhere.
Pretty much it did.
Yeah.
Lee, I think, and I'm not sure if it's in our bylaws, but we are told when we come on the board that you're not to discuss anything that has to do with what went on in a meeting if the person that we were meeting about is not available. In
Right.
other words, we can't discuss anything after they leave. We also, to my understanding, you can talk with a person, you can't talk in a group because a group is a meeting. That's, I may be wrong, is that that's my
3 or
understanding.
more constitutes a meeting.
Pardon?
3 or more constitutes a meeting.
Constitutes a meeting.
So someone has to sit there and
And
take
it has
notes.
to be public.
Right.
And the
Okay.
emails are conversations, so as soon as you get beyond three,
They'd have to be both ways to be a conversation.
well, if they're sent and received, I mean, I'm not gonna get, I mean, it's Natalie's job, not mine, but, the image, though, I mean, again, email communication have to be really beyond acknowledging that you have seen something. That's about the limit, you know.
Well, I think what we're doing is we're discussing the censure motion.
So we are going to censor him
Yep.
at this point. No more emails back and forth. That way, we're all above board. You know, no one come after and say, hey, you were doing this and that. Well, we get enough headaches in the world without adding an extra one onto it.
I agree.
I agree.
My apologies to the board.
So
We have a motion.
we need to have a motion. Shall I make it?
Thought you already did it.
I did.
Yeah, there's already been motion.
We haven't
Yeah.
voted, I don't believe.
This is the discussion.
Did we vote on the censure?
No.
We didn't, did we?
Yes.
No, we voted not on the censure.
The motion was made and
Right.
seconded, but there was no
We went
vote
into
taken.
discussion.
That was to change the rules.
Okay, I'm behind.
But we had a
No,
second
we
motion.
also had a
But I made
second
a
motion.
motion
And a
for
second.
censure.
On censure that
Lee.
led to.
Yes, sir.
Just ask Tammy for what was said as soon as she finds it.
I got it. Judy Worth made the motion to censure the chair for not abiding by the Freedom of Access Act, seconded by Judy Carl. Discussion, 2 pages of writing. We are at the point where a vote needs to be taken.
There we go.
Right.
Okay. All in favor?
You're a good sport.
I screwed up.
Good sport.
Motion carries.
Now, you can reinstate the rules by making a motion.
I make a motion to reinstate the rules.
Rules of order.
Rules of order.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Okay?
Motion carries.
Okay, planning board
So
businesses.
you may preside over the rest of the meeting.
Thank you.
You're alive.
can't thank you guys enough for letting the guys screw
May
up
I
in
ask
it.
a question? Are we all clear now
Yes,
as to what the procedure is, if you wish to?
absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
The only
And
emails that can go around are.
We all
light
agree
blue-
to do it?
Yeah, light, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so planning board business this evening is to discuss changes to the
Excuse
zoning
me,
ordinance.
Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Item number 2 is minutes of previous meetings.
all right. Judy Worth, our secretary.
What?
We're discussing the minutes of the previous meeting.
Oh. Well, I've read them, so I say we adopt them, we
Make a
approve them.
motion.
I second that motion. I knew that was a motion.
All right, is there any discussion? All in favor?
I was not here for that.
Yep.
David, you
Anyone?
seconded that one?
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
We don't have any new business? Okay,
Sorry, no.
okay. Then our old business is zoning ordinance changes. Who would like to start off?
Sure, I will. I have
David.
yellow tabs.
Oh.
Make sure you give me your number so I can keep.
Yeah, if you'll permit me, I'll just go through the questions or comments that I had, and then anyone else can go through theirs. And I'll just refer to pages as I look.
Okay.
Page 1, section 1.02. There was no change there that you guys did, but I was surprised that we're promoting the morals of the town of Waterboro. Not that I know what they are, or whose version of morals that they are.
1.02.
Yep. It says the purpose of this ordinance is to promote the health, safety, morals, prosperity, aesthetics, and general welfare. If we're going to promote morality, we have to have a decision as to whose vision of that morality it might be.
So again, that is just a carryover from the previous ordinances.
I understand.
If you'd like it stricken, I can.
I would, my suggestion is that we strike it because we have more than enough other abilities to promote the welfare of the town.
And if we're going to put that in, then we should take out adult businesses. So we have things about adult businesses in here.
So
let's
it's stricken
take out the
morals, correct?
I would strike
morals out.
I think we
Yeah.
would strike it.
That would be my suggestion.
Are we striking the whole sentence?
No, just that one word,
Just
single
one
word,
word.
morals out of the bag.
Okay.
Page 3, first paragraph. This is a carryover from the page 2 at the bottom, where we're talking about the 30 days.
Right.
And in the second line, the selectmen shall, within 60 parentheses 30, that just needs to be changed to 60.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
missed
I
it.
lost you.
Yeah,
In the
next page.
second
And
line,
number 2?
Where?
page 3, second line.
It says 60.
Selectmen
and then
shall
it says
within
30.
60 and then parentheses says 30. It's a typo.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
okay, I
but
got you, I got you.
We did agree to change it to 30.
Yes.
Okay.
So the 30 is there, but the 60 written out did not get changed to 30.
We
Okay.
changed that to 30.
Yes.
Okay.
That's,
Page 4, in the middle of the page, we have, the paragraph started with the line, "a person wishing."
yep,
In the next line down, it says contract proposal to the select board.
Yep.
That's been changed and everything else to Board of Selectmen. Select Board.
so you'd like that changed to Board of
It's
Selectmen?
inconsistent with everything else.
Okay,
On the two more paragraphs down, it starts with "to help recover costs."
yep.
And the last line, "the way of planning board recommendation."
Includes,
Does planning board need to be capitalized there?
you know, that's a great question.
I think it
Because a lot of, when I'm writing reports and I refer to planning board, sometimes I capitalize it and sometimes I don't, and I always get changed.
Well,
So,
every other reference here is planning board in caps. So
you'd like that in caps?
I would suggest that be capitalized.
And may I make a suggestion?
Yep,
The word includes should be include,
okay,
because it's a compound
fine, yep.
subject.
I believe you.
My 8th grade English teacher would never believe that I'm doing it.
She wouldn't believe it.
She would not.
If it wasn't for spell check.
Oh, gosh. Okay, page 8.
I loved English.
Page 8.
Page 8. The 4th paragraph down, beginning with the code enforcement officer.
Yes.
If you read that sentence, it doesn't make any sense. The code enforcement officer may on his, her own, and shall. There's something missing between on her, his or her own, and the and. There's.
Should that be recognizance?
Recognizance is what you get when you get bailed out without having to pay money.
David, I
from
think
jail.
if we took out owned, because then it would say the code enforcement officer shall upon complaint.
That would make sense.
So we take out own and code enforcement officer on his.
Yeah, I
or
just
her.
don't know
I think it
what got
meant
lost
by
there.
themselves,
Yeah,
on their own.
on their own.
Shall upon
Take out the and.
Yep.
Take out the and is
Yep.
fine.
Own and.
Okay.
Complaint, comma.
Shall, on their own, shall upon complaint.
Investigate to ensure the state law, this ordinance, other local ordinance, other local, yeah, that'll be fine after that.
Okay.
Yep.
You got a may versus, you got a may fighting against a shall, that is confusing.
No,
I see-
no, they're
I
not
see what you're
competing,
saying.
because the code enforcement officer may,
Comma.
on his own, shall
Right, the comma
upon
would be good there.
complaint, investigate. So he may investigate
On his own.
on his own,
So you're crossing out the word and?
yes.
I think,
How about
it-
but?
And needs to go in there.
What?
but what's before, there's something missing before the and.
You
May-
could take out
may
the, you
on
could
his
keep the and
own.
take out
He
shall.
means he can do it by himself.
How about he may on
And
his own,
And upon complaint.
but
Yes.
shall?
So you could keep the and strike the shall.
I would, yeah, I mean, one way or the other, but that sentence as it's written doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
It is confusing.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I don't know,
Yeah.
even have an
That's
and.
great.
I'm having a brain
I
scramble.
think the meaning is different.
Keep it, so,
Still
Tammy
doesn't-
can take some notes.
The code enforcement officer may, on his or
Own.
her own, upon complaint,
Right.
investigate to ensure state law. That makes
So-
sense.
Own and should
But
be
on
out.
his own and on complaint are two different things. If he does it on his own, but he
No,
shall
it's right the way
upon
it is.
complaint.
It's on his own and shall upon complaint investigate.
All right.
Yes.
He's not gonna investigate the complaint unless he gets it, and so he shall
Not
investigate.
unless he sees it.
Right.
That wouldn't work in both cases. I would investigate it on my own.
You can do it on your own, or you can do it by a
That
complaint.
is correct.
Right.
I understand what you're saying. I think the sentence could be better written.
Well, I'm sure.
To be a little bit less, wouldn't lead to this discussion, which clearly we have a jury here that can't get to a complete verdict on this sentence.
Oh, you know, actually, if we move that word may down, it went code enforcement officer may upon complaint
Or,
investigate.
maybe, or shall.
Yeah, change
You
the word
could
and
put
to
can.
or.
The code enforcement
Can-
officer,
can
on his
One
own,
person at a time, please.
on his or her own, may, upon complaint, investigate.
Back up, please. What are we trying to get across here?
It means he
Are
can
we-
do it either.
Wait,
There's two
people,
things.
one person at a time, please, so
I
Tammy can
think
keep
it
up.
means he can do it by himself, or if there's a complaint, he can
That's
do
my
it.
So
understanding
why don't we
also.
write it that simply? Make it two sentences, two short sentences.
All right.
The code enforcement officer may, on their own, on his own or her own, investigate any complaint, initiate any action or whatever. Upon complaint, they shall investigate. I mean, because that's really the 2 points you're saying. One is Glenn sees something or hears something or it comes to his attention,
But all the
and
rest
he
of
can
that
look
has-
into it. He's not
Right.
job bound to do so. But you know, if you're driving down Lone Pine Road and you see me doing something on my property, you're going to say, "Hey, Dave, what you doing up there?" Okay. On the other hand, if you have a formal complaint, you don't have a choice. You have to
shall do
look,
it.
investigate, and resolve it in some manner that's formal.
Very true.
So in
But
one
we're-
case, you're a patrol,
Yep.
it's like a police officer. In one case, you're on patrol, and you see stuff. On the other hand, you're responding to a complaint. I just think you need to just make it separate. Don't try and combine the two sentences as
I think the
one.
word "but" takes care of it.
Actually, David just made a good point. Maybe it should be 2 sentences.
It's two
One, two.
long sentences.
I have a
Well-
question.
Yes.
What if we just added 2 commas the way it is stated now? The code enforcement officer may on his or her own, comma, and shall, upon complaint, comma, investigate to ensure the state law, this
That
ordinance.
works. I mean, there's many ways to do it. That works as well. There's many ways to do it and
Keep in mind,
Oh.
the third parties are going to read this and are going to interpret it in ways that are going to best meet their needs.
All right.
So the more clear we are, the more simple it is, the less likelihood you're going to have of a misinterpretation.
Okay, Lee J,
Yep.
you want some time to hammer that out and come back to us with it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, is that good?
Yeah,
Or-
that's fine.
Yeah.
That's
Or
fine.
you work
I
on
don't
it?
think we could do it, huh?
So if you go down to
Well,
the
we've been
next,
going at it for 6 minutes.
the next paragraph, it starts off again with the code enforcement officer, the second to last line. It says, shall be available to the town attorney to facilitate law enforcement and prosecute individuals. I would just change that to and the prosecution of individuals who violate a code
And
enforcement officer.
prosecution.
I mean, it's a lightweight change, but it's,
David, help me out again. Where are you making that change?
the next
Yes,
paragraph
his
down,
or her testimony and records shall be available to the town attorney to facilitate law enforcement
and prosecute. I
And
just said, and the prosecution of.
in the prosecution of.
It just adds a word.
That keeps it in the same context.
To me, it sort of
The
flows
same-
a little bit
Yeah,
nicer.
Okay. Yeah.
Page 13, my favorite topic. Item number 2. Development will, these are the standards,
15,
fire safety hazards. And we talk about adequate there's a semicolon, and then we say adequate dry hydrants, adequate access to off-site dry
David?
hydrants.
David?
David, would you back up where you at, please?
Page 13,
Number
13.
number 2,
2.10 site plan review standards.
number 2 below that, the proposed development.
Okay,
It says nothing about sprinklers, and we seem to be using sprinklers as an option on fire safety frequently. Do you want to
good
include
point.
that in there? Because otherwise we're going back to the old standards that we have basically been bypassing in favor of sprinklers.
So I'm going to throw a twist in there. I don't mind making the change, I guess. And the board certainly has the ability to condition an applicant on that. But that requirement or that standard is a building code standard and not one that the planning board would normally make as a finding of fact. I state that, but if you want to include it, we can include
Yeah,
it.
but it doesn't. It mentions emergency vehicles
Correct.
and dry hydrants and things
Those
would
are things-
supply an emergency vehicle with water.
Correct.
Not a sprinkler system doesn't do that.
Correct, and a sprinkler system is a building code standard, which this ordinance does not cover. But again, I don't have a problem.
I
putting it in there.
just raised the issue
Yep.
on that one because
Yep.
we've discussed this several times with
I don't
different
think it
site
applies
developments.
to that.
Perhaps not.
No, I don't
It doesn't apply
But
to.
it has been a source of discussion at our site plan
yes.
reviews.
Hang on a second. So I didn't catch what you were saying, Judy, because what we're talking about is maybe adding
But-
sprinklers to it?
No, this sentence refers to providing emergency vehicles with water. At least that's the way I read it. Dry hydrants and, off-site dry hydrants provide the emergency vehicle with water. A house sprinkler does not
By not
do
providing
that.
adequate access
Access to emergency vehicles.
or to buildings on the site.
access and water.
The proposed development will not create fire safety hazards by not providing adequate access to the site or to the buildings on the site for emergency vehicles, adequate dry hydrants or adequate access to off-site dry
But
hydrants,
that's
and,
getting to the,
and from there to the site.
yeah, but it's not. To me, sprinkler systems don't apply to that at all.
They may not,
I agree with Judy
Yeah,
on that.
I'm okay
That's
with
more
that.
about
It's
the fire
about-
truck.
it has just been such
You gotta
a
keep your,
piece of our discussion. Every time we talk about a dry hydrant or a cistern,
oh, yes. You just haven't seen anything yet.
Lee, or,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Dwayne,
He's in charge now.
Great.
I'm kind of in line with Dave on this. I think, and I'm not in line with Judy, I think they talk about having access for emergency vehicles. They're not talking about having emergency water supply for those vehicles. I do recommend that you strike adequate dry hydrants and submit adequate. That's all I have so far. Adequate fire,
Okay.
adequate fire suppression.
All right, well, that would encompass everything.
Yep. Adequate dry hydrants, Waterboro just does not want to talk about those anymore, in my opinion. So that should be struck. And strike the entire line after that. So you could submit instead adequate fire suppression.
That's fine.
That one works.
Everybody on board with that?
You'll have to repeat it.
Yep, so I'll read the whole thing. Number 2, the proposed development will not create fire safety hazards by not providing adequate access to the site or to the buildings on the site for emergency vehicles, adequate fire suppression, and you're going to delete everything after that.
Should say with adequate,
Or adequate fire suppression. Or adequate fire
Yep.
suppression.
Adequate dry hydrants or,
It would, no, it would say, it would read like this.
Well,
It would read like this.
We don't even
The
use
proposed
those.
development will not create fire safety hazards by not providing adequate access to the site or to the buildings on the site for emergency vehicles or adequate fire suppression.
all right, but I think we should put a period after vehicles, because if you go or, what it says to me is, well, if they got, sprinklers or a dry hydrant, we're kind of wiping out this whole thing about access to the vehicles.
yeah, period.
So
it's-
I think we ought to separate those two
Isn't
sentences.
aren't they talking about you can't block access for the vehicles or access to the dry hydrant?
Correct.
That's how I interpret that. That you have to keep all that stuff clear so
Let's
that
see.
if,
How about two?
I mean, we don't use,
How about we put the word two
we
in
don't
there?
even use dry hydrants anymore, do we?
We're getting away from
Do
those.
we have any of
I
those
think we
here?
most likely did our last one. If we inserted the word two, hydrants, or fire suppression, two fire suppression.
Systems, two fire suppression
There we go.
systems.
Figure this out, 'cause it
Okay.
drives me nuts.
Hang on a second, hang on. Judy?
I didn't hear it.
Okay. I'll tell you, I'll let Lee J repeat that sentence.
All right, let me see if I can get it right. The proposed development will not create fire safety hazards by not providing adequate access to the site or to the buildings on the site for emergency vehicles
Two.
to provide adequate fire suppression systems. That still does not
To
read correctly.
access to certain systems, yeah, there you go.
To access
That's better.
fire suppression systems.
May I have a
Does that make
question?
sense?
Yes, that's better.
Are we saying that they need to provide adequate dry hydrants or adequate access, or they need to not create hazards from those?
No, it's saying that you're needing to provide. They're needing to provide adequate access to those.
Yes.
So there has to be something there that they can use water.
Correct.
Okay.
And you can't block it off.
Correct.
Okay.
Yay! Okay, page 83.
Page what?
83.
Wow.
Oh, man.
I like that. Jeez.
The lights were out. I was doing an Abraham Lincoln greeting by candlelight. Come on, give me a break.
You were starting to make me feel good, too.
Okay, it's Article 11, Section 11.02. And this is just simply a name consistency. Section 11.02
Don't have any other.
is titled Selectmen Orders, Enforcement. And what we're referring to is the Board of Selectmen.
I'm sorry, I was
Section 11.02.
1102.
The title of that section is Selectmen Orders, Enforcement. And I believe it should be Board of Selectmen.
Oh, sure, okay.
Okay,
Yep.
it's not a big deal. Page 87, getting into definitions. In the last definition of agriculture, in the second line, it says limited to space colon, that space needs to just come out. I mean,
Say again, please.
the last paragraph is titled Agriculture, the definition, and it talks about the production, keeping, but not limited to, and then there's a colon, but it's a space before the colon.
Oh, yes.
That's just a typo. The
Oh,
space
yes,
has to
okay.
come out.
Yep.
Well, we're on that page, can I butt in?
Okay.
Go.
A butter? Why do we have that appeal in there?
Oh, yeah.
Why don't we just stop with, within 500 feet of the property line? I mean, there are a lot of other things we use notifying abutters for other than,
500 feet of the property line.
yeah, and that's it, period.
And that's the
On all
language you
four
use in other
sides.
butter language
Right.
throughout this.
But
that's
I mean,
all
we
four
just-
sides.
Yep.
Wait, one person at a time, please.
Well, we just had a young man that we had to notify abutters, and he wasn't doing an appeal, so I think the definition should cover all cases when you use it.
Yep.
Page 89, bed and breakfast. The third line down, it says,
Hey, before we move on, can we back up to page 87, adult business? In our existing ordinance, this is the only section that they said goes right to Superior Court. The whole rest of the ordinance reads everything goes to the Zoning Board of Appeals first. I'd like to see it go to the Zoning Board of Appeals first. Anybody? Before it goes to Superior Court? Again, my opinion on having the ZBA in there not only gives us one fact of finding by this board, but it also gives us a second fact of finding by another board in case it does go to court.
Adds another layer of,
Protection.
well, also adds another layer of bureaucracy and more money. How much does it cost to go to the zoning board of appeals?
I don't know, how much?
Costly, right?
$330. $330.
So it
What does
costs,
it cost to go to court?
A whole lot more.
There you go.
Well, but if it goes to the zoning board of appeals and the person loses, they're still gonna go to court.
yeah, but then when it goes to court.
But if the town.
I mean, I don't
loses,
care.
they'll still
If that's
go-
what
I
you
don't-
want, that's what you're gonna get.
I don't care either.
Judy, what's, so,
I think it adds another layer of bureaucracy, but if everybody else wants it to go there first, okay.
Page is that on?
David,
87.
I don't have an opinion on this. I truly don't care. As long as there's an appeal process.
I'd rather see you go to the zoning board of appeals,
all right?
you know. So he spends $330. There's a possibility that he can prove his case according to, you know, whatever the reason is. And that saves him going to court, saves us sending our lawyer to court.
You don't think we'd go to court if they were,
Well, if you lose, well, we still could go to court.
And it doesn't, because the
I always
theory,
found that going to court, you got less than a chance of winning. I've been a few times over certain items, but.
all right.
So that's just striking one
Well,
word.
wait a minute, wait a minute, Lee J. So Judy?
I don't have an opinion either.
Okay, Ryan?
I like the zoning board deals.
All right, so is it all right with the board that we also include that to go to the ZBA first?
No objection.
Okay, Judy, no objection, all right?
Yep, just striking one word. It says shall not be appealed to the Waterboro Board of Appeals, so it will say shall be appealed to the Waterboro Board of Appeals.
Yep, thank you.
Page 89, bed and breakfast, second definition down. The third line, which says which one meal a day is available and only to the people renting the rooms, I would just strike the word and. It's available only to the people renting rooms. Just a grammar. Page 91. I just think it's an alphabetizing question as to whether the insert of the de novo hearing goes between daycare facility and developed area.
It
Nope.
is, you're right.
It goes.
Goes
looks like it goes.
after.
After daycare and before developed area. It just needs to be moved.
Oh, needs to be moved up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, 'cause it's a hyphen, but.
Believe it or not, I think that was the last stuff that I had to share.
All right, who's next?
Unfortunately, I didn't do a sticky note.
I'm done with these.
That's okay, because I can't find it anyway. But we changed, when you're making a screening with plantings to screen headlights, we changed the height.
The
Of
4 feet and
plantings.
6 feet.
We changed it the other way around, from 6 to 4.
64, I saw that.
Yeah, and I'm not wanting to break the bank by making people have something 6 feet tall, but
55?
how far from the ground are the headlights of a good hot truck? I'm talking, if you want an example, blast from the past. They've got
Yep.
this nice little row of bushes,
Yeah,
but it's way too low to block the headlights from the people across the street. And they're there early in the morning and way after dark at night, this time of year. And I just didn't know if,
So I don't,
I don't mind if they're 4 feet tall when they're planted, but they should be let to, and maybe 4 feet is adequate, I don't know.
so
I meant to
you're,
go out and measure our truck. but-
are you suggesting, I just want to make sure, are you suggesting that the planting be 6 feet?
No,
Because,
that's ridiculous.
well, because it says.
I know it said 6.
No, it said 6 and it's proposed to go to 4.
Yes.
what if we said at least 4?
My problem is not how big it is when it's planted, but how high it is allowed to grow to maturity.
So we're saying.
I
we
mean,
said-
how high does it have to be to block the headlights of a good high truck? That's my question, I guess. Is 4 feet sufficient?
I think my truck's pretty tall.
Yeah.
Higher
I
than
was
a
gonna say,
yard,
what probably here.
right?
My head
It
was
depends on
probably
the,
Yeah,
it really
it's at
depends
least.
on the material that you're
30
planting.
inches.
I mean, this is like an 80% solution too. It's not going to be a perfect solution.
I mean, if you plant arborvitaes that are fast growing, they could grow to 20 feet. If you plant a low shrub, it may stay at 4 feet. It really depends on the material that's called out.
But my problem is 4 feet high enough to block the headlights of a good tall truck from the people across the street?
I would say no.
That's what I would say too.
I had a 50-50 shot on that one,
That's the
Jimmy.
ones I run around lately with,
Yeah.
lights are up this high. They
And
got-
those, what do you call those bright things that come now and blind you, those
Oh, LEDs.
LED lights?
Oh,
You know, I mean, just go sit across the street from blast from the past, and there's headlights flashing in your room all the time.
So here's the.
And I don't want to break the bank by making someone go out and buy something that's 6 feet tall? Because I'm sure that's very expensive.
Well, yes, it is. It can be. If you notice the wording, it's plantings that are 4 feet at the time of planting.
Yes,
Or fencing should be at least 6 feet in height.
yes. So there's a big discrepancy.
Well, but most fencing, normal fencing that you're going to find for screening purposes is a 6-foot fence.
Yeah.
If you go taller, it's a spike fence, so you don't want to do that.
Yes, I know that.
I suspect they make 4-foot tall fencing that you
Yeah, they
could
do.
require if you wanted to, which is not the norm, but you could certainly, if they requested a waiver of that from 6 feet to 4 feet, you could grant a waiver of that.
All right.
No, I just think we've blown it in a couple of cases. One is the church up in North Waterboro. I mean, that was supposed to be those little skinny trees that
Yep.
are way far apart. We're supposed to screen the
Fill in,
headlights
yeah.
from, and that's not going to happen.
So
And I just think,
what makes you comfortable on this? How's the wording?
I don't know.
Ted had his hand up
One
first.
second for a minute. Ted?
Just a point, the two places you mentioned, Judy, the flash from the past, you're talking about the house directly across the street. If you look at the blast from the past, if you're heading toward Hanford, look at blast from the past, that whole property was built up.
Yep.
So that's generally gonna be higher, and headlights are gonna shine higher into that guy's property. The other thing is vehicles, your comment, a normal sized truck. If it's a truck that came off the assembly line and not modified, the headlights are gonna be lower than if somebody modified the truck, put bigger tires on it or something else too, so. Just a thought.
All right, let's.
Never mind, I'll
Okay.
just forget it.
I
Well,
have-
one-
Just-
Go
I have
go
a
ahead, Judy.
comment.
I just know
No.
that the people across the street asked for this hedge to be put in, and it doesn't work. And they evidently trim that, because those trees will grow a good deal taller than that.
They keep them trimmed.
Yes. And they're
If they would let them grow, it might help.
another foot.
If we had something, this is crazy, but if we had something where it has to be 4 feet to start with, and then what? Let it
So,
grow?
I mean,
Now we're dictating
So-
how I should landscape my yard.
I-
Now you're dictating how I gotta keep my yard
I know,
landscaped.
I know.
That,
Well, that's why
that
I-
pushes the other side of the
Yeah,
envelope.
that's why I said.
yeah,
it
I
in the
mean,
comments.
one of the, I mean, it all depends on who's sitting in this chair at the time that a project like that comes through. One of the things that I've done in the past on a project that I worked on a main road was because of that very issue, the headlights onto a 4-lane road. And my recommendation to the planning board was that the applicant redesign that parking lot to have a 4-foot berm, a landscape berm,
Yeah.
and
That
then
would work.
require plantings on top of it.
That
So
would
even if
work.
the plantings didn't fill out, the berm was 4
Yeah.
feet in height to help block the lights. It all depends on the situation and how you approach it.
So we need some, it's not a bad idea, so some wording about blocking site or something.
I guess maybe it just has to come in a case by case.
Yeah, I think that.
You
Really
can make an
nice.
exception on these things anytime we
We
feel
can put
it's
conditions on
appropriate.
everything.
Yeah.
I mean, one other thing, the more fencing you build around these commercial properties, whether it's hedges or berms or whatever, the less security these places have too, because
Right.
they can't be seen from the road.
Right.
So now all of a sudden you have a robbery problem, or you have some other kind of an issue. The fire department responding, you can't see in, and which doesn't accomplish anything either. So there's got to be
Okay.
a balance.
Why don't we put this subject on at the discretion of the board? And we can always apply it as a condition, like we look at it if the neighbors are saying something about it, or somebody on the board thinks so. Put something in there that this is.
Absolutely.
Does that work for you, Judy?
Yes.
I think we had a project
Yeah, we've
2
got
years
several.
ago now
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we probably could have done this type of thing, used this type of thing for screening
Okay,
and parking.
so it'll be at the discretion of the board. Should we put under conditional uses or something?
No,
Leave it.
don't need to do that.
Okay.
It's just a condition that would be either recommended through staff or a condition that you folks
Okay.
would come up with. as
All right.
part of the approval.
Yeah,
For
another
Sherry's
thing,
purpose, what, I don't have the words down here, where are we changing that discretion to the board?
Nothing,
nothing,
nothing.
nothing.
It's unchanged.
No change.
Oh,
The
No
board
change.
has the discretion to make changes
Right.
already.
Yes.
I haven't finished.
Anything else,
I'm
Judy?
a little
No,
full.
I am not
All right,
right at
Judy.
the moment.
Anything?
I'm done.
Right.
All set.
I got this one, under definitions, when it gets to the code enforcement officer, there's been a change that right now, the code enforcement officer works for the Board of Selectmen, and the
What
recommend
page are you on?
90. Thank you. Page 90, about the middle of the page, code enforcement officer, and it's changing the authority of the Board of Selectmen, the code enforcement who now reports to the Board of Selectmen, to the town administrator.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that.
but he doesn't answer to this.
Well, I don't
By
see
charter.
They have a charter.
that it reports to the town administrator.
Yeah.
It's in the,
I didn't see that, but I'll look, I'm going to relook
Chain
at
of
it. It's in the
command
town
or-
charter that he reports to the town administrator.
Well, none of the staff reports to the selectmen. In a true HR sense.
All right,
I hire and fire and the recommendation, a lot of the positions called out in the charter.
All right.
They have to agree with that recommendation.
which brings up the question of, because I know the town administrator's decisions don't go to zoning board of appeals. Do we have an administrative board of appeals? And does that put the code enforcement office under administrative appeals, therefore any decision he makes cannot be appealed at the zoning board of appeals? Where's this land for the people who may disagree?
If somebody made a complaint about something I did or did not do, it would go to the selectmen.
Okay, but now, does this change?
Any decision he makes in relation to the zoning ordinance
Yeah.
is an administrative appeal if they disagree with his
It
decision.
still goes to ZBA.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
When you say he,
absolutely.
you mean
The
that.
code enforcement officer.
I don't make those decisions.
No.
Okay.
I think they're talking about the conduct of the,
Or telling him, you need to go out and take care of this issue.
yeah. I mean, you direct him.
Yeah, I have no authority on the ordinance. I don't, nor do I want it.
You're in the supervisory chain, though.
Yes.
All right,
Well, you thought it was changing our way we govern on it.
yeah, maybe, I
Yeah, no.
don't know, I just thought that was a large change. But
No.
I'll reread, I'm willing to set it aside, and let me take a look at our charter. And the charter went through a lot of changes when they amended it for the town administrator, so.
Lee, can I just ask you to take a, just below the code enforcement officer on page 90,
Yeah,
the commercial animal husbandry,
yes.
just between, it says 5 animals, comma, and then there's a underline that needs just to be taken out.
That's an added space.
Yeah, it's not colored, or I couldn't tell if that was color, if that was an actual edit that was made or something you got left over.
That will probably disappear when all of the changes are
One would
accepted.
hope so.
I've got it here, but it's,
I see what you, right after the comma, 5 animals, comma,
Yeah, I
underscore. Yep.
You missed that a bit. Even shortchanged.
Okay, that's cool.
So what are the next steps?
Next step is based
Wait,
on,
wait. So did we solve this thing about subdivision appeals? Do they go to the ZBA?
we haven't touched the subdivision
no,
regulations.
we're not.
All right, because that's questions in what we're working on here.
Mr. Chair, I have some changes also, please.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead, Glenn?
All right, on page 7, section 2.03, it talks about underground swimming pools. That entire paragraph should be struck. The building codes govern permits and installation of those.
What page was that on?
Page 7,
Where it says plans and permits.
yeah, plans and permits.
Why didn't you do that months ago?
You've been doing it now?
It was a month ago.
Everybody with me?
Yeah.
You're under plans and permits.
Yep. It talks specifically about swimming pools. And I think anybody could look at this ordinance 3 more times and still find things.
Oh, yeah.
Dwayne brought this up one other time to me, again, still under section 2.03. Bottom of the first paragraph where it says the building permit shall be valid for a longer period of time, but may be renewed for additional 2 years if the nature of the project has been more or less continuous. I'm saying strike more or less, so it'll read the project has been continuous.
And we did match that up with our planning board. Remember how it was a
Yeah,
we straightened that out, right, Lee J?
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
well, we straightened it out, but it's back in there.
Oh, I meant the timelines.
Oh, okay.
In other words, the code enforcement permit timelines lines
Yep.
up with the
Correct.
planning board's
Yep.
timelines.
Yep.
So is everybody agreeable with what Glenn would like to change?
More or less, okay.
You just can't define more or less.
Okay.
And I can put an answer on continuous. Page 19. Section.
I'll tell you what, Glenn, hang on a second.
Yep.
Gary, was that pertaining to what we were discussing?
Yeah, page 7, just a question, I guess, for Glenn and Lee J. On the swimming pool thing.
Yep.
I understand your point in terms of the codes, but isn't that an aid to the citizen reading this, to have this in here, even though it might be redundant?
Thank you for bringing that up. That leads me right into another chapter.
Let's deal with swimming pools.
Yep. It would be informative in the same fashion that listing all the building codes would be informative, but that was struck from my version.
At Natalie's recommendation.
Yeah, it got pretty lengthy.
Well. it doesn't have
At
to be that-
Natalie's recommendation.
Yep.
But we
It doesn't have to be
referenced
that
the building
lengthy, but
codes.
In reference to what Gary just said, being informative, right now the town can look at an ordinance and it doesn't say anything about what codes the town has adopted.
The zoning code should not.
What it
List
does
all of
say,
those codes.
but it does talk about swimming pools.
Swimming pools, I would assume, would also be an accessory use that would need to meet setbacks at certain times.
It does.
Okay,
But it's
that's
all
a
in-
zoning issue.
It's all in the building codes.
What about, did
Well-
we tackle the above-ground pools? And meeting setbacks, did we deal with that?
If they're higher than 24 inches, they're regulated by the code and setbacks.
Why don't we just reference in this paragraph the code
Building
yeah, we'll just put refer to section
Why
or
don't you just strike it out?
MSL or
Yeah.
whatever you would be going by.
Okay.
How's that? If we just put a reference in there to, was it the national code?
Well, if I was gonna reference that, then I would wanna reference
You'd have to do everything.
all the codes that are compliant, that are enforced by the town of Waterboro.
Yeah, I don't think we want to do that.
No,
Can I make a
don't think so
suggestion?
either.
Yes,
No, 'cause-
David.
Maybe as a preface to the entire ordinance, you just simply have a paragraph that says, the following concerns only and specifically zoning issues. Many other issues are covered by building code or other appropriate codes, and it is the responsibility of a builder or a developer to be familiar with and ask clarification questions that may arise. But then just take it out if it's not part of the zoning. If it's building, if we're going to say that building code stuff goes to the building code, then just tell them up front in the zoning code, zoning ordinance, we're not repeating the building code here. If you're not familiar with it, you need to ask the question, and this is where you go.
I thought it did say somewhere in here that everything complies. There was a list, wasn't there? I saw it.
Well, the list
That was taken out at Natalie's request.
Oh, the list of codes that we follow?
Yeah.
Yes.
It got struck for no other reason other than it was lengthy.
Well, I think she had more of a reason than
I thought
that.
it was only like 8 or 9, maybe 10.
Well, you could just say MUBEC, which covers all the standards.
What was that?
MUBEC, Maine Uniform Building and Energy Code.
All right, so what do we talk? Can we say that for the whole ordinance?
that would govern the state building codes.
And it covers our swimming pools.
It does.
Yeah,
All right. Comment, boys?
I would go with that.
All right, just one statement saying that we're covered by eBay.
You bet.
I would prefer not to do that, because
All right,
if you
fine.
cite MUBEC, and you're dealing with a plumbing code that may not cite MUBEC, or you're dealing with an electrical code, although we don't do it now in town. We don't have an electrical code. There are many other codes that are not under MUBEC.
That's why I listed them.
So maybe.
And Natalie suggested that the zoning ordinance is not the appropriate place. So what I'm doing is I will add, after the purpose of this ordinance is to promote the health, safety, prosperity, aesthetics, and general welfare of the town of Waterboro, period. This code does not pertain to any other codes adopted by the town, and then suggest referencing the town's code, of the town's general ordinances for, further standards or something to that effect.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
Glenn, how's that gonna work for your enforcement?
Well, people look to the ordinance for information on what
Just
the
add
town governs.
Just add it back. I'll just add it back in. We'll just add it
Don't
back
get
in.
frustrated.
I think that,
We gotta protect ourselves as well as being.
understood.
enforced.
I think doing that will not protect us, but put us in a more vulnerable position, because if we don't cite a particular code and we list all the others, or we adopt changes to that code that aren't included in here, that creates a vulnerable situation. The zoning code is only relevant to the zoning of the town.
Right.
Not the building code, not the electrical code, not the plumbing code, not any other codes.
So if we just put a disclaimer on there then,
And that's what I'm writing now.
That's-
then that basically says what is and what isn't in the zoning ordinance, and where to go to get, that it's the responsibility of the developer or the claimant to be compliant with the relevant ones.
We talked about adopting an electrical ordinance. The only way a town can enforce electrical code is by ordinance. And that was in my first submission, and that was also struck. So an ordinance is part of the zoning ordinance. So if you're gonna, and I still feel the town should have an electrical permitting and inspection process. The state says you can't do that unless it's in the ordinance. So if we're gonna have that in the ordinance, then we should have plumbing in the ordinance and building codes in the ordinance.
Well, again, I don't think the electrical code belongs in the zoning ordinance, and if the town wants to adopt that as a separate standalone
Alright.
code, then they need to do that.
Let me think for a second. When somebody applies for a building permit, that's where they would pick up the code for electrical. We don't have electrical, but our plumbing and all the rest of the codes that come under.
Well, a lot of
building
times
permit.
they'll call our office endlessly. What do you enforce for codes? What are the Waterboro codes? And I continuously say, there are state codes that Waterboro enforces. So if that was in our ordinances, they could go there and find out exactly what we enforce.
I think the easiest way to do that from an administrative standpoint is just type up a list and say, here's a list of the codes. You don't have to have it by ordinance to do that.
Well, and we do that, but people like to do stuff online.
And you can't provide that list online?
It is
I mean,
provided online.
forget it.
It is.
What was Natalie's, hey, Lee J, what was Natalie's opinion on why we should?
Exactly what I've been discussing. You don't want to cite other codes in your zoning ordinance because you can subject yourself to other issues relevant to citing the wrong codes. In reverse, we're having the same discussion, which wasn't in here tonight, but you've taken out all of your fees,
Yes.
which were previously in this code. And they're now going to be moved to a separate standalone fee structure.
Yeah, if you start including all these codes, then you have almost a secondary obligation to maintain their accuracy.
Absolutely.
And they're constantly in flux, and to get that into the zoning code. That's a huge administrative challenge and the liability.
Isn't it a case where things that you list, if you don't list something, it's a vulnerability? Because then they can come at you from a different direction.
Well, as it relates to zoning, if you have a list of uses in a zone and something is not listed, then it's expressly prohibited.
It is,
Yes.
okay.
Judy Carl,
What?
you have an opinion on this? I don't know. Lee?
I know electricians, and at least once a year, they have to go to a code update. So every year, you'd have to go back and redo all those codes over again, because you've got them listed, this is what it is. Well, last year, this was okay here, but now it says, no, it's gotta be over here. You gotta change all that stuff.
Well, you wouldn't have to do that. You would say the current codes of the state of Maine.
And I would think that would be obvious.
Yeah, and plus,
Not
we're
really.
saying that in the opening, and saying the developers are responsible for knowing the codes that affect their development and to be in compliance with them.
Okay, Ryan,
Launch this pilot and walk away on that.
any opinion on this?
A wash maker.
On the electrical?
Yeah, whether or not we should list codes, like our, so,
You ban.
thank you. Right in our zoning ordinance, or just leave it out and they'll just have to reference it. We'll have to create another package with those codes in it, or tell them where to reference it or something.
I propose to add under purpose to say this code does not pertain to any other codes adopted by the town. See the town's general codes for a list of all codes adopted by the town.
I
That's
can live with that.
self-explanatory.
That would work.
Yes.
Okay, we're good?
We're good.
Everybody on board?
Okay.
David?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Okay.
You were on page 19.
Yep, I'm moving to page 69, section 803. The word, a non-conforming use of structure which is damaged by fire, explosion, flood, or other calamity. Can anybody tell me what that other calamity might be?
Might want to change that to
After
natural
God.
disasters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what's the insurance say? Do they still call it an act of God?
Yeah.
If a
What's
tree
an
falls
act
out?
It's a legal term,
Anything
actually.
Is
but
it?
calamity.
Act of God is a legal term? Why don't you, whatever insurance would say, that would get us in the
Yep.
same realm.
Okay.
Trees falling in your house like this.
Since we're on 69, I'd like to go to page 70, section 805, non-conforming lots. The ordinance we have in place mentions single lots, which we still have a lot in this town. And if I'm reading this right, we've changed that to 2 or more continuous lots, but it is taken out the single lot non-conformity section of that. The one that's in place is non-conforming lots and pending applications for building permits, non-conforming single lots of record. And what we have now is 2 or more continuous lots of record. Am I missing something in here?
I don't understand your question, I guess.
Well, we're eliminating single lots of record, because our existing ordinance
Yeah.
clearly mentions a single lot of record in a non-conforming situation, but I'm reading this.
But they're non-conforming. And when we talked about this before, weren't we mostly thinking about not Lake Arrowhead, but the lake area with all those really
Correct.
weird lots and
Correct.
jigs and jogs?
So if you read the full sentence,
Yeah.
it says, I'm going to read the part that was also stricken, which you're citing. It says, non-conforming single lots of record on the date of enactment of this ordinance may be utilized as provided in section 2.08. Remember, 2.08 is the setback issue. 2 or more contiguous lots of record in common ownership at the time or since adoption or amendment of this ordinance shall be combined and treated as a single lot. So what it's saying is if you've got 2 lots next to each other, for the purposes of this, they're going to be looked at as one lot. The only way they would stay 2 lots is if one lot were in John Doe's name and one lot was in John D. Doe's name and had 2 separate deeds. But if he's got 2 lots under the same deed name, then they would be combined into 1 lot, hopefully making them conforming.
That's what we do.
But that's where it is now, so.
That's been done for a long time. That's why people have a different initial.
All
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
as long as we're not,
That's the-
if it's,
Dennis
so it's
Boucher, remember?
single deeds, as long as they're separated by deeds.
Yeah, I mean, if they're 2
Well-
separate deeds under
Well,
2 separate names, same person but 2 separate names,
It's 2 lots.
it's 2 deeds.
Betty Lane.
Otherwise, it should be recognized as 1 lot, which would make it hopefully conforming.
I don't know, Judy. That's it, Judy.
What?
Always, so if somebody owns 2 lots,
That are
Before-
non-conforming.
right, and now they can
They're
only build one.
contiguous, right next to each
Yeah.
other. They have always automatically been combined to make 1 lot.
Okay, it's always been like that, they,
Unless, see, because we tried to do this, remember on Betty Lane?
Yeah.
And he knew that, and he had them different.
Yeah, but that rule's been around a long, long time.
That has
It's always
been,
worked for
oh,
us.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because they tried to do that to some of our land, and what do you do? It's been there.
alright. I just wanted to.
It's trying to get rid of
Nonconformity.
non-conforming lots wherever possible.
Yeah.
And that's, I know it doesn't sound fair, because I didn't like it either, but it's been done for a long time.
Alright. Next.
Page 76, 9.07. The terms more or less also shows up in the second paragraph of 907. So I suggest striking that and just have continuous.
Where are you, Glenn?
Section 907,
Yeah.
second paragraph, last sentence of that second
Oh,
paragraph.
more or less.
Yep,
Has been continuous.
great. Page 90. Definitions. Code enforcement officer. I had in there electrical inspector, and that has been struck. I would ask the planning board to reinsert that.
It hasn't been struck, Glenn.
It has in my
Yeah.
copy.
That's my copy.
My
Yeah,
copy,
my
it's
copy
been
as well.
struck.
Here's my copy right there.
Well, so we're putting it back in.
Well, and there's my copy right here.
Yeah, and here's mine with the blue line through it.
Struck
No, it's
out,
right there.
yeah.
It's in
So
there.
it should be
What's everybody
in.
else see?
Yeah.
What's everybody else have on theirs?
The scratch, anyhow, is it in or out?
Blue.
Yeah,
You're
Is
gone.
it,
It's in,
it's in?
Should
It's
be.
in.
Okay.
and we'll capitalize electrical.
yes, Gary?
But we don't have one, and we don't enforce an electrical code right now, so why do we need that one?
Well, because I'm gonna push for it.
Well, we don't have it yet, we'll change this one.
We can amend it through the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah, that's fine, I mean, you can.
Alright, so it's out for now, and when the town gets around to incorporating an inspection for electrical code, we can just turn it to the Board of Selectmen. And because they can amend anything anytime they want.
Yep. So,
So it's out, right? Is everybody on
It's
board with
out.
that?
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a cast in stone document, it's gonna be changed.
so you're gonna leave it strike out?
Correct.
We're taking it out like it was out.
Yes.
Right.
And at
In,
the time,
out,
when the town actually gets to inspecting electrical, we send it to the Board of Selectmen. Yeah, right. Next.
I think that's it.
Can I
Oh,
ask
yeah,
a
no,
question?
it's not. One more. Page 97. The more or less has come up again under the definition of structure.
I got a suggestion, Lee J, use that control find, put in more or less.
Left.
That should be struck.
Sherry, use controls.
On structure,
Consider structure there. Whereabouts in that
A
sentence?
man-made construction,
where assemblage of
Having more or
materials,
less
having
permanent
more or
location.
less permanent location on the
Yeah.
ground?
Yeah, it was,
Having a permanent location?
there's also says somewhere it's more or less over the water or something like that. in
Yeah,
somewhere
but
in here.
also people put up small
And I
buildings
didn't
on
understand what that was.
blocks. And then it's not, it doesn't have a foundation, so it's not a permanent
Luigi, I'm gonna have to
building.
get back to you on that, because the building code is specific. So the building code enforces permanent or not permanent structures. So I'll have to get the text for Luigi to
Yeah.
specify that.
There's also, I'll look into it, there's also a section here where it talks about on the water as well. And it's same like in kind as that.
Yeah.
Well, if it's anything to do with on the water, that's in the shoreline zoning regulations,
Yeah,
which will
Then I'll
dictate.
still look into it to make sure it's not in here, because then it would conflict with that,
So
so.
just so you know, just covering my tush on this, that's how your current definition of structure reads, having a more or less permanent location.
And that's partly because of the tent storages, the car storage tents
Yeah.
that people use. I think you mentioned
It's
that
not
Yeah,
once, because they're permanent but not so permanent.
yeah.
They're everywhere.
Yeah,
They are.
Yeah.
but they're covered by the
they're
zoning
permanent until a big wind
ordinance.
comes up.
And then they're a wing,
There's
And
one
they're
here.
more or less.
carrying a Jaguar away.
Okay, that statement's in 203. Let's see.
Alright.
I don't see it anyplace else.
So are we leaving more or less?
Here we go.
I'm gonna see what the building code says
Okay.
for structure. That's all I have.
Lee, could you back up 2 pages, page 95? And this is again just a typo on the section of nuisance. And there's just an excessive space at the end of the first line. Where it needs to just come out of there, because something was deleted.
David, where are you?
Page 95, definitions, nuisance.
Oh, yeah, the sentence didn't carry as far over
Yeah.
on the.
Yeah,
Nuisance. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
There was just a blank space there that just
After
formatting
zoning
needed
ordinance, yeah.
fixed.
Just gotta do a backspace and.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you also have in that same, as you go through it, towards the end of the third sentence from the bottom of the nuisance paragraph, you have fences that's capitalized. I don't think it needs to be.
Well, that was normal.
I'm sorry I lost you.
On page 95, the nuisance paragraph we just looked at,
Yep.
just another typo on the.
Oh, yeah, vehicles, comma, fences. Okay.
And the fences should be lowercase.
Yeah.
If we have definitions for things that are not in the zoning ordinance.
Try not to, but sometimes
well,
that might
I
happen.
don't think they are, like primitive campsite, primitive campground.
We still got the
that was in
definition.
I thought that was in the definition.
It is, but
It is, that's.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
are they,
And we struck that from the ordinance itself, so I'll strike that.
Yeah.
is that,
Did you
if
strike
it's,
permitted campsite?
I'm
Yes.
sorry?
if it's in the definition, does that imply that it's,
No,
oh,
no, but we can strike it because we did strike that whole section. Primitive campsite.
we're striking primitive.
Yes.
No, because we were going to, we had an ordinance that we drafted to put in the zoning ordinance, and we decided to get rid of it, so no reason to carry it forward as a definition.
everybody knows how I feel about that.
Just a quick question. I know we decided, or I think the planning board decided not to talk about signs.
Yes,
Yep.
Didn't we just leave that alone?
Are signs considered part of the ordinance?
there's a sign ordinance,
They should be.
yes.
I rest my case.
So we have a standalone sign ordinance.
It's not standalone
No, it's
today.
part of the zoning
No, it's
ordinance.
part, it's in here.
Yeah,
Most
yeah.
sign ordinances
Yeah.
are part of zoning ordinances.
All right, so
We
what's your
chose
question?
not to look at it.
We chose not to, yes.
Not to,
Just like-
not to disturb it.
Just like
Standards.
section 3, we chose not
It
to
just
look at
needs
it.
a pile of work.
All right. so
Well, you can touch that when I'm gone.
No, we're not making that easy, buddy. Who's up? Anybody? Come on up, Bob, introduce yourself.
I'm sorry.
Bob Lehman, 189 West Shore Road. I just had a couple of things. One is lot setbacks and requirements.
What page you on,
It's
Bob?
on page 18.
That was one of the sections we did not address.
Are you going to be addressing it, or?
Not at this time, I believe. I don't know. We could bring it up again, but that's section 3 that we skipped right over.
Article 3, which is the actual zoning itself.
Actual zoning itself.
So you're not
I
addressing
saw
it?
you-
Well, I'll make my points anyway, and then you can
Go ahead,
accept them or not. One is on this, it says minimum shoreline setback, 100 feet. We all already know that. It should say just refer to shoreline zoning, and that should be coming out because it's misleading when you get to something. And the next line over says height of building. Okay, if you're 100 feet back, you still can't be at 35 feet high until you're what, 250 feet back?
Actually, 35 feet is the maximum.
Is the maximum in town.
Town.
But it's misleading because someone like I look,
Yep, it is.
the residents look at it and they want to build, they look at that, okay, maximum height's 35 feet, I design my building with 35 feet, take it to Glenn turns me down, now I have to go back and have it all redesigned again.
Yep.
So it's very misleading.
Why do you turn it down if it's 35 feet?
He's just,
If it's within 250 feet of the water, it can only be 25 feet, is that correct?
right, it changes.
Oh,
It changes depending on how close you are to the water. So in actuality, it could be less than 35 feet.
Well, but this ordinance does say maximum building height.
It
Yep.
does, but it doesn't say minimum building height. And
It says maximum.
it says maximum, okay.
but
So you're gonna build something to 25 feet, if you look at the ordinance and it says maximum 35, you're not.
is there something in the shoreline? I don't remember.
It is.
So if you're
What is that?
near the lake, you should be looking at shoreline regulations
Correct.
and not these.
I'm just saying it's
Okay,
confusing.
I mean,
It
I'm
is
just clarifying
confusing.
it for myself too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing, I sent a letter, I hope you all got it, I sent it twice, I sent it to the chair the second time, but I sent it to Sherry the first time, to make sure you got it regarding setbacks, and again, you probably didn't go over this because it was the residential agricultural zoning setback. The setback is 75 feet, and all the properties around the lake are in that zone. So that's an extreme amount of distance to be back off a road in those areas. And I think that really needs to be changed and looked at. And then continuing that argument, if you go back to 2.08, the last sentence in that says that it is does not go to shoreline zoning. So we're the highest taxed people in the town, and we don't get the same benefit or the setbacks that everybody else gets because we're in shoreline zoning. What does shoreline zoning have to do with setback off the right-of-way or the road? It's setback off the water. It shouldn't have anything to do with the setback off the right-of-way. So if 2.08 is good for everybody else, why isn't it good for people in shoreline zoning?
I may have a reason for that, but I can't, I'll have to look it up. I think shoreline zoning,
Isn't that the state? The
well, it is, but
shoreline zoning?
in some situations, you're gonna have a side setback along with an off-the-water setback to comply with in shoreline, depending on a specific situation. I can think of two of them that have peninsulas, they're surrounded by water, that you have to meet the shoreline and the setback.
Well,
And
that one
208
we
would
went
not
to.
work.
Yeah. We've been to a
Out there on
couple.
Connolly Point.
Yep, Conley Point is a perfect example. and I hear exactly what you're saying.
I'll tell you, board members, how do you feel about, not to stop this process, but obviously Bob Lehman's well up to speed on this. If you presented us something down the road, and again, not to slow this process down, but let's see what he's got to say. Let him present something to the board. If he draws it up. Anybody interested in that?
What if we just start by looking at 2.08, because you did look at section 2, right?
Well, 208's now with the ZBA, right?
It is, but why is there an exception to not allow shoreline zoning in that one? You did review section 2 as part of your process. So if you took that one comment out that said, you know, the last line of that, shoreline standards, none of the above standards shall apply within shoreline zone. If you took that paragraph right out and allowed us also to be treated like everybody else in the
What
town.
page is that on, Bob?
10. That would prevent people like me having to spend another $330, I think I heard tonight, to
It's-
go to zoning board of appeals to get a reduced setback.
Must be a reason it was in there. Didn't
Okay,
anybody
well-
know? No?
Let's see if I got this straight. What we're really talking about here is not how far off the water you are or how close to the sidelines you are. We're talking about how close to right of way if you're living closer to a road.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Okay, so, I mean, I think Mr. Lehman has a very good comment. Don't disagree with him at all. Where I think we diverge is the issue of the shoreline zone, which is state law and state mandated. So that kind of says we can't, or the town cannot deviate or relax those setbacks. However, what he's mentioning regarding the 75-foot setback, relevant to the road frontage, I think, which we didn't do, was look at Article 3, anything to do in Article 3 this time, because it's going to take a lot of work. But that certainly makes sense, especially, I mean, you know, on the one hand, you're talking about in the AR zone, which is an 80,000 square foot lot size, 2 acres. But on the other hand, we're talking about setback from the road, not from the pond, lake, river, or any other resource. So I think that's something that could be considered to shrink that setback to something that's more reasonable than 75 feet.
All right.
I'm just not sure, from my standpoint, I'm not sure that now's the time to do that, because we got a lot of issues to deal with in Article 3.
What can't we, what about 2.08?
Well, 2.08, as you recall,
But why-
actually gives Glenn the authority in most cases to shrink the setback with certain provisions in there.
But you can't do it in the shoreline zone.
But you can't do it in the shoreline zone, that's right.
Why is that?
Because the state law dictates shoreline zoning. But it's
It
different.
doesn't dictate setbacks, though.
Yes, it does. But what it doesn't dictate, and what I'm suggesting, is that the setback from any road,
Right.
we ought to consider shrinking that and making it much more reasonable, because that does not directly affect the resource, being stream, brook, pond,
The water.
lake, anything to do with the water. So I think we can have the best of both worlds by giving someone a 25-foot setback in that zone, or something to that effect, and still not interject the shoreline zoning issue into it, because that really deals with the setback issue from the resource, which we cannot deviate from,
Right.
because that's state
Okay,
law.
that's what I.
So we're doing that in 208?
No,
You could do it in 208 just by getting rid of that one statement.
I can't recommend that they get rid of that statement, though, because the shoreline zoning ordinance is state law, and we
What-
cannot shrink the state law setbacks.
I understand that. I'm not talking about state law setbacks.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if you take this out,
Yeah.
that doesn't affect the shoreline zoning codes at all. We still have to follow the shoreline zoning.
So sure.
All it does is it takes out the ability for us to reduce the distance from the road or right-of-way to our building. It also gives us the ability to move buildings further away from the lake, which is a huge benefit.
Well, you can do that anyway.
No, you can't, because you can't violate that 75-foot setback to get further away from the lake.
Right, and what I'm
Because
suggesting.
of that one statement.
Correct, but what I'm suggesting is that we change this from 75 feet to, I don't know, 25 feet.
I think that would be wonderful.
And all
I think
I'm saying.
that would work.
And all I'm suggesting, the board can tell me differently, is that we haven't touched anything to do with Article 3 anywhere, except for uses to clean that up, because there is a bunch of stuff in there that just didn't make sense.
Okay. May I?
But
Glenn, what's your take on this?
I think in 207, we could probably change that statement that Bob was referring to. Well, it looks like it's the old 208 that's going to be changed to 207, 208. I think if the statement said that it can't conflict, or it cannot conflict with any shoreline zoning setbacks.
Well, all right, you're on to something there, though.
Yeah, because
If it doesn't conflict, may
the
be pushed
shoreline
up to-
regulations don't regulate side
Well,
setbacks.
No.
if that's the case, I would concur with Glenn, but I would say that reading that right now, then his interpretation has been wrong, because it says, none of the above standards shall apply within the shoreline zone. All setbacks determined in the shoreline zoning ordinance. The shoreline zoning ordinance only establishes setbacks from the resource.
Right.
No.
So there's
Look
no
what the
reason
state said.
why 2.08, if it's applicable, can apply to roadway setbacks. Because the roadway setbacks are not cited in the shoreline zoning ordinance.
All right, so we're talking about some wordage here. We're back to, as long as it doesn't conflict,
Right.
which gives, would be a variance, so it would fall under ZBA. Unless we choose to change it to 25 feet.
why would it be a variance? Is it a variance for everybody else?
If you
in
went
not
side-
shoreline?
Well, because it's a variance, but it's the same reason as if we were gonna give you up to 10 feet from the sideline. It's a variance.
But isn't this just a planning board meeting?
It's neither. It's the 2.08 or now 2.07, size reductions or increases, really is in code enforcement officer's hands to be able to make that adjustment.
And presently, I can't do it if it's in the shoreline zone, which is 250 feet off my
And you
water.
can't do it in shoreline zone because our ordinance says that you can't because it's shoreline. So if
Correct.
we change it to, how'd you say that about,
If it doesn't conflict.
if it doesn't conflict with shoreline, because we're moving further away from the water. So therefore, it's not gonna conflict with shoreline or any state guidelines.
But the lot is a shoreline lot.
But the last statements in that section says all setbacks as determined in the shoreline zoning ordinance. I don't think the shoreline zoning ordinance determines roadside setbacks.
All right,
It only determines setbacks from the resource.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we're missing a verb from that sentence, pardon me. All setbacks are as determined? I mean, what should
Where's
that
the
say?
section about, where's it say in our ordinance? Where's that page where it talks about the 75 feet?
Oh,
Where are you here?
Section 3.
Page 10, middle of the page.
A little bit.
Yeah.
All setbacks as determined in the shoreline zoning ordinance.
Page 18.
That's not a sentence.
You looking at this one?
Where are we?
Yeah,
Page 18.
okay, wait, let's get through Gary's verb.
I should think that we would say all setbacks are as determined in the shoreline zoning
Or
ordinance.
just
What
strike
paragraph
all
are you
setback. Just within the shoreline zone as determined in the shoreline zone ordinance. You could just strike all setbacks.
All setbacks from water, from,
No, because this,
I think you should strike that entire sentence.
Which one, where we at?
All setbacks that determine the shoreline zoning ordinance, just strike that. So it's only gonna read, none of the above standards should apply within the shoreline zone. period. Because that's what it's saying.
Oh, I can't find it.
What we're missing is we strike that sentence.
Computer applications,
Does it take away from,
all responsibilities.
should have?
Strike it.
But what is the first sentence?
It's
Talking
the,
about-
the,
Talking about
the
the.
sentence is, the
Get
intent
rid
of
of
the
that.
sentence is simply to indicate that you cannot vary those setbacks in the shoreland zone. And you can't, that's state law.
No, but it's saying you cannot do any of the above.
Correct. And the
But the above are, but some
In
of
the
the above
shorelines-
are from the roadway.
in the shoreland zone.
Some of the above are from the roadway
So
in.
you can clean up, I mean, you can either strike it if you want. I mean, I think it's not gonna help you.
I just think
Okay,
that
there's a
if
shoreline.
you're within the shoreland, you have to follow the shoreline zone setbacks.
Correct.
Period.
Correct.
Doesn't say
But
period.
the shoreland zone setbacks do not apply to road frontage.
That's correct.
Yes. And
But-
that's what I'm saying. He
but
can
this
give you a
still
permit
says-
today based on that.
But this still says none of the above standards, none of the above.
Right. Standard.
But the above standards tell you that you can have a setback off the road, of a reduction in setback off the road. Well, that doesn't count anymore because it says none of the above can be in effect if it's within the shoreline. The intent may be there that we can use that, we just can't affect the shoreline zoning. But I don't understand how anything here, if you take that whole paragraph right out, we still have to abide by the shoreline zoning. You have a whole shoreline zoning section.
And strike it.
That's,
Suggest to the board they strike it.
So where's that?
do you disagree with me,
If we
or?
take it out,
I think I agree with what you need to achieve.
Yeah,
I think we're going about it from two different
okay.
respects.
Okay,
Um,
thank you. I
oh,
respect
yeah,
that.
no, I think
but
we're.
all
thank
right,
you
guys,
for saying
wait, hold up. David,
You know, I think we're debating a lot without a lot of facts, and I think we really have to adjourn on this and give it the necessary thought. Let DJ put some research into it.
I will.
If Glenn put some of his thoughtfulness into it, and then come back with a proposal. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be able to even come to a conclusion tonight. I think we understand what you're suggesting, and I think we understand what the issues are. It's just-
Or am I and Glenn just misinterpreting what this says?
Well, I
Like
think
he
that's
was
what we
saying.
have to really give some thought to, and I don't think we're gonna resolve it.
Without the
All right,
shoreline in front of you, it's kind of hard to say you're right or wrong.
all right. Oh,
I
I'm sorry.
I don't,
I didn't
I
see
don't think-
anything in there that
About
referred to side or road front
Setback.
No, but
setbacks.
the
in
shoreline zoning does.
No. It refers to
Setbacks from
setbacks
the-
Oh, setbacks from the water, right.
Yes, but it
Right.
didn't, I didn't see anything, and I'm not one to do careful
No, I-
things, but
I can clean
I
up.
agree with that,
I didn't
Judy.
see it.
The thing that
I understand.
affects this statement is this is none of the above standards, and it talks about setbacks off the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So none of we can't use anything in that article. So we're being treated differently than everybody else in this town. It doesn't affect the shoreline. I just put in for a permit, and got a permit. But I had to keep my building closer to the water. I became less non-conforming, but I couldn't go past that 75-foot setback.
Board, this is the gentleman that you authorized me to.
Yes.
Yeah,
So, Glenn, your opinion on what we're talking
I
about?
wouldn't have a problem in striking the entire standard that says none of the above,
Standards shall
Yeah.
apply within
Right.
shoreline zone?
I can't see any, but I'm
as long
not
as
an
it's not in
expert.
conflict with the shoreline zone.
Okay.
say you, or something to the effect is, see shoreline zoning.
Just strike it.
Yeah,
Just-
I mean, we
you
all
gotta-
know that state law takes precedent over.
All right, so
That's-
you're good with striking it, Judy?
Yeah.
Lee?
Yep.
David?
I'm just still wrestling with it in the sense that I just don't know enough about it
All
right
right.
now.
Ryan? Good. Judy?
He's got a legitimate nowhere does it say from the road anywhere, so that's something we need to consider. Because if it says from the front of the house, I mean, most of the cottages or the homes on the lake, it's the back of the house
Correct.
next to the road. So we wouldn't want to say, we wouldn't want to assume that it's the front of the house
Well,
in
front of the-
shoreland zoning.
Definition, in the definitions, it says front of the house is the side of the house facing the road. So that is in the definition.
It does say that.
It does say that.
Well, that doesn't apply into most of the shoreland properties, right?
Not in our opinion. My front yard is the lake.
Well, that's what I mean.
From a practical standpoint.
From a practical
Yeah.
standpoint,
For the most part,
but
that's probably what we're,
But the state law is very clear about that.
State law is very clear about
That's-
that.
There's no doubt about it.
I'm not arguing that at all.
I know you're
So
not.
wait. While
Save
we're
your
talking
breath,
about,
buddy.
I
okay,
like Glenn's
wait,
words.
just for clarity, what we're talking about here is just allowing houses actually to move further away from the lake by moving closer to a
The
right of
road.
way, which a lot of these right of ways, as we've dealt with before, is a grass road. You know, so that's pretty much the short version of this.
so
Anybody
how do we affect that? Or can we affect that tonight?
with this statement?
Just
Well-
take this out.
Yeah,
So-
again, I repeat myself, we'll just take out that entire statement.
All right,
So if we take that out, do we default then to the residential setback? No setback,
No,
completely
this,
discretionary?
this is allowing them to reduce the
I
setback.
understand, to what? None?
25
feet?
feet,
No.
let's call it 25 feet.
Okay, because residential is 50 feet.
Yeah, but most of these lots around the lake are pretty small.
Don't you
No,
have-
I understand.
don't you
I'm
have
just
a
simply
formula that
saying,
you
we're
use?
painting with a very broad brush right now.
Well, no, not really.
No.
I mean, the equation
You
that I
have an
have to
equation.
use is pretty clear.
Yeah,
And sometimes it doesn't work in all cases. Sometimes the equation will come out where they still can't meet the reduced setback by 208. So then their only option is to go to the zoning board of appeal, right?
How about a
but if
compromise?
you use the, you should be able to use the equation everywhere but on your
I agree,
water
and I guess
setback.
I hadn't thought about that until Bob raised it.
I mean, I see no problem with that at all. And if it doesn't work, then you go to zoning board of appeals.
That's exactly my point.
Is that where you want to go with this?
That's exactly where I want to go with this.
I'd
Okay,
rather do
so-
that than mess with zoning 3.
So if we take this out, it
Yeah.
falls on the equation, and then off the ZBA.
Yeah.
All right. So Judy's on board, right?
I'm on board.
All right, Judy, okay, Ryan?
Yes.
David, are
I'm
you
gonna
up to speed?
vote present.
Do
I don't know, I just don't know enough about
You know what,
it,
do
but-
like I do, refer to Judy Carl. All right, so, we don't need to make a motion on this, 'cause- to make a change to this. So, everybody's on board with that, right?
We're taking out the
Thank you.
sentence that says shoreline
Excuse me?
zoning standards, none
It's
of
out.
the above.
The whole gone.
Right, we're gonna scratch the whole thing, because Glenn already has a formula for a certain amount of percentage
Gotcha.
setback.
Yes.
If it becomes that much of a problem, if ZBA starts seeing too many cases, then we'll go right back to the Board of Selectmen and fix it up there with an amendment, right?
Give them something to do.
Hey,
We have 4 cases in front of the zoning board of appeals.
Yeah, how many got to do a code?
What's that?
No, I'm messing with you.
Would this reduce any of them?
Let's see, yes.
But it's not gonna, it doesn't matter, because this won't go into effect until it goes through public hearings. We still
Public
got a ways to
hearings,
go.
and-
So, those cases are still gonna have to go to ZBA at this time
Right.
anyhow.
I mean,
How
it's
soon
only-
closes this to going? Because if those people know that, and they can wait a little bit, it might
Yeah.
save them $330.
It's going to the
they've already,
selectmen.
they turned their forms in too soon.
Yep.
They're on the time limit right now.
All right, next.
Well, their check has been cashed.
What?
I said their check has been cashed already, too late.
All right,
Thank you, Jen.
anybody, who's up?
Am I out of line saying that if if we approve everything we talked about tonight, then we move it, once it's done, we move it to the selectmen, we don't have to see it again?
Well, we still have to do a public hearing.
No, do we have to do a public
Yeah.
hearing?
Yes, we do.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Also, is anybody interested in having the people that worked on the comprehensive plan take a look at this?
Yes,
All right? So.
we don't need to start that. If we
Okay.
want to go on from here, I'm all
Correct.
for it, but
And so, well, where we're at is we take the changes that we all agreed upon tonight,
Yep.
get it back, go ahead and clean it up, send it back to us, send it back to us, and I guess we're gonna need a list of the people who worked the comprehensive plan, and we'll send it out to them.
May I ask why you're doing that? They don't,
Well, no.
they don't exist.
I
we're
thought you
not
said-
gonna, no.
No,
This ends here.
I thought
we get
that's,
this
No,
cleaned up,
no,
we look at a
no.
public hearing.
Absolutely not.
clean it
The
up,
next one.
send it back to us. That's it.
Set a schedule
And
public
set a-
Let's
hearing.
go, let's set
Yes.
a public
Public
hearing.
hearing.
Oh, we don't need that.
I could've sworn that's what you said
I
to
was
me.
on the comprehensive plan.
She must have been
I'll
saying
vote
yes
for
on
that.
something else.
Yes,
With knowing that you want to take and get the public hearing scheduled for this version, with your permission, I'd like to work with Lee J to get it cleaned up and possibly, once you look at it at the next meeting, which is November 15th, have the first notification to go out for the public hearing, because I have to post it twice, so it can hit for the first meeting in December. I can always pull them. I have permission to pull them when I need to. But if I get them ready to run for that first meeting in December, you opt not to agree to pass it on yet at the next meeting. There's still a little bit of work. Not a problem. I can fix it that night after the meeting. So it will not run, it will not hit any notice or anything.
that's fine by me.
That sounds good.
Members,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a little
So
added,
be it.
it's a little more added work, but at least we don't have to look at Christmas for the next meeting, because otherwise you'd be the second meeting in December.
all right.
You can always continue your public hearing, you just don't have to vote at that night.
I don't think we really made a lot of changes this thing anyhow. So, send it to us as soon as you can. We'll move forward with the public hearings. Sound good, board?
Well, I'll just presume you're gonna
Right.
approve it on the next one,
Correct.
and if I have to pull it the night of the meeting, I can.
Okay.
But I can't get it in if they don't have room in the paper. That's where the issue hinges, is they may not have room to put my publication.
All right.
Okay.
Go for it.
Yeah,
All right.
mine is already too thin.
Puts us, any miscellaneous?
You have to, goodness.
No miscellaneous,
Might be growing.
which means we covered everything. Anybody want to speak before we adjourn?
I would like the motion we adjourn.
We adjourn second. Anybody?
I'll second.
Fight for second. Any discussion?
I'm sorry, who seconded it? David?
Pick one.
Lee. Any discussion? All in favor?